Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are taking a look at a new release from Fenty Beauty, and it is the eyeshadows. So this is called Bomb Posse. Opens like yay, and these are 4 quads. On the back they tell you what the colors are and how they are naming them. I have to give this. The pink one is Fussy, the middle one is Fenty Glow, and these 4 are Hot Chocolate. And I am doing looks based on these quads, but you certainly don't have to. I think the first time I played with this, I was in here and maybe around here, but I did another look yesterday. I couldn't shoot yesterday because my neighbor was doing brush clearance and we had chainsaws all day. So I have done this look, which I really, really liked, and we're going to show it later on, MOS, without any sound, and kind of go through it fast. But these are quite lovely. These are more coppery, and this is a little bit darker, but still has a warm undertone. I noticed that there's one thing really missing in here, and that is an inner corner highlight. Every other shade is matte. So this is not, this is. This is not, this is. This is not, this is. Matte, not matte, matte, not matte, matte, not matte. So 50-50 ratio, which is fine for me. Now I see a lot of people talking about palettes from Fenty. Fenty is a very, very successful brand. I read recently that it made Rihanna like a billionaire. I don't remember what. And then they said snarkily, not the Kylie Jenner kind. It's a very, very successful brand. But it doesn't seem that the love is for all categories, and here on the tube anyway, a lot of people don't like this. They don't even review it. And when I say this, I don't mean just this. I mean all her eyeshadows, which I think are pretty clever. They snap, and this release had highlighters as well that were super dark, so I didn't get those, but that would snap onto here. The smaller ones that she sells, you can get 2 and snap them together, and I think the color stories are absolutely perfect. They're great for beginners because there's not too many colors, and it pretty much lays out for you what you can do with it. So I think very beginner friendly. One of the main complaints I hear about this brand is the shimmers or glitters or whatever they're called here are not bright enough. And I do think that that's because of Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona, and people expect, pow, punch you in the face every time there's a shimmer, glimmer, glitter, duochrome, metallic, foil, whatever, and this doesn't offer that. I'm not someone who really wants that foil or metallic. It doesn't work because I'm so deeply hooded. So I'm absolutely fine with this, and not everybody wants that brightness. Hi, I'm here, and I know that there are many, many women who don't want that brightness. It's not appropriate for them, it's not appropriate for their lifestyle, or it's not appropriate for their eye shape. They just can't do it. So I don't really have a problem with it, personally. I'm going to do some swatches. So in this quad, here's a shimmer, here's a shimmer. They're very similar. This quad, shimmer, shimmer, very similar. This quad, shimmer, shimmer, a little bit different. So let's just do shimmers first. Boo, 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 boo. So here I can tell that this is deeper in tone. This is maybe a little more peachy pink, and this is a more vibrant pink with a little bit more bluish in it, maybe? But then I look at it from this way, I'm like, no, there's a lot of peach in this one. So this is just deeper in tone. Same thing over here. So this is a darker copper than this one. And I don't know, I kind of wonder if it's really necessary. Here. Now here, they're very, very different. But while these are different from each other, this doesn't seem too different than these. So I understand the concept, but I think they could have mixed it up a little bit because we have a lot of copper in here, and they're just too similar to warrant being there, in my view. Now, let's do some of these mattes. Boom. This color, this is the one I used yesterday, it's insane. It is absolutely perfect. Now I just want to compare these because this particular color right here is very, very hard to do right, in my humble opinion. For example, here is, I'll write it down right here, Viseart, and I thought this palette was going to give me the same thing. The depth of tone is very, very similar, I think, but as you can see, this one has a little bit more grayness in it, and when you're looking for that perfect color to receive your hood, especially if you're doing a very, very simple look, it makes all the difference if the undertone is just the slightest bit different. It's not going to work on your skin tone. If you're using a shadow for something like just maybe a one and done or two and done, and it should look like a real shadow on your skin tone, while this one for me is a bit too gray. This particular color on me, perfection. Now these two colors, these are very creamy, by the way. This quad right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, is the Fenty Glow. And finally, and this one, Hot Chocolate. Boom, 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 boom. So that's what we have. It's really actually a pretty warm palette. It kind of reminded me, maybe this is kind of like the Patrick Ta palette. But the Patrick Ta, of course, had those two cream shadows that were so great. I want to see a palette of that particular thing. I like the bottom shades mostly, but mostly the top row I didn't like. And I wonder, this seems like it's kind of similar. Maybe this can work. So I don't think I'm going to do a full one quad story. I think I'm just going to pop around. But this is, like that, a warm brown story, but it's not too warm. Now yesterday I had meant to shoot this. I planned to shoot this to post on Sunday, which is today, but my neighbor was doing brush clearance, so we had chainsaws all day long, and that wasn't going to happen. What I did instead was shoot with my fan on and a little voiceover, and let's show you that look now. I started with the Jumbo Blender from Sonia G and the lightest matte color in this quad and put this all over the lid. It will help to set the Clé de Peau concealer I put on because this is a very light quad and it's very similar to my skin tone if it's not concealed. Then I took the Westman Atelier brush. I really love this brush for powders, and I took the tip and kind of carved out the area where my socket might be, and then I used the rest of the brush to kind of blend it and soften it up. Whatever was left on the brush I put on the outer edge and then a little bit on the inner as well. And then I took the Chikuhodo blending brush. I think this is a 9 or a 10, and I just did a nice blend so it went into the brow bone very gently and easily. This brush is so beautiful for doing that. And then I mixed the dark chocolate brown with the darker color in the first quad and did a little bit of smooshing at the upper lash line, and I used that mauve by itself with the lower lash line. Then I curled the lashes with the Rougher Lash Curler and did my mascara with the Milk Kush. And then I went on with the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula, the Hermes lipstick, the Hermes blush, and I will name the colors and put the links below in the description box. Now this look to me is fantastic for every day, but we have a couple of shimmers and I just want to show you. They look so similar to me. I don't understand why they look so similar. It kind of doesn't matter. This one's a little bluish and this one's a little lighter. Let's just put a little bit of the lighter one right here. Just going to go in with the Chikuhodo and spread it around a little bit. Okay, I am not afraid to tell you that I loved that look. I looked in every mirror in the house and I just felt like, yes, I'm wearing makeup, but it looks so right on my skin tone, the kind of look that it was. It was giving me the shape I want, accentuating the eyes as I want, but it was the kind of look where I don't think if I ran into somebody, which I didn't, they would think, oh man, ease up on the makeup. I really don't, but it wasn't a no makeup look. I loved them. Now, let's get into the second look. So I'm going to do the Bobbi Brown method, which is start light and add on. So this is the lightest, and this is lighter than my eyes. On my eyes, I have a little foundation, a little sunscreen. I didn't put it all over the place, but you know how stuff happens. So this will just kind of provide a very dry atmosphere for the other shadows to lie on. Today is not going to be a good word day, I can just tell. I was going for a simile for landing on the moon, and I just couldn't get there. There. Done! Just a nothing really kind of shade that helps to even up. That's all. So this is the same brush from the Sky set. I think you can get it as a single. And we're just going to go in the orbital bone area. And this is also matte. If you find some of Bobbi Brown's old videos, she says she believes in layering colors on the eyes. And you start with the light all over, and then you go a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker. And I think it's a fine way to look at things. So if we're doing the Bobbi Brown way, then I'm going to go in with this one. This is a different brush also from the Sky set. A lot of pigmentation for that one. This is the first one that we're using that has some depth of tone to it. And I definitely need to blend this a little bit. Using a really light hand. And at any point here, I feel like I could stop. Like, hi, okay, this is enough. It's not a dark look. It doesn't close anything out. It just gives me a little bit of shape. Gives a little bit of depth. Emphasizes the eyes a little bit, but it's, you know, it's perfectly lovely. It's not a lot. It's not hitting you in the face. Next. So taking the My Kit Co brush, and I'm going in with the chocolate. And I'm just going to go around the lash line. And this is the darkest shade. And this brush I think is just a little too big for this, but I'm there. So I'm using a very light hand because I really didn't want it that big on that area. I do feel like I want a little bit more darkness up here, but as I said, I feel these shades are so similar I can't discern from them. So I'm going to go mix a color on my own, like this color with this one. And this is a Chikuhodo brush, and I'm just feeling my orbital bone. I don't want a super dark look. And I've wiped it off, and I'm just going to blow this out a little bit. Light hand in circular motions. Now I'm going to do a bit of tight lining with this Chanel crayon. Anything you want. If you need to do tight lining, I do, because you can see the skin under here. And it's not a look I love. And this color has quite a bit of red in it. And all my makeup will be down below with links if you're interested. Now I'm just going to, looking at this other mirror, try to even these up. My eyes aren't even. I think for most people they're not. And then for those of you who are like, well, what about these shimmers? We're going to do a little something with a shimmer. And I'm just going to take this Chikuhodo, go right here, because I don't want this color to go too high up. And this is a really good time to check to see if it's too far out. So this one, I think I've stayed going up, but this one it looks like it's going down, so I'm going to take a little bit of concealer and fix that up. I'm still using this Candid, you guys. I kind of like it. I'm wearing it today under my eyes, and this is probably the best under eye concealer I've tried from the drugstore. Just so it's not too abrupt. Looking good. I haven't put anything under the eyes. If you want to, you do. I like the cleaner look. I have a lot of going on under my eyes, you guys. And I do feel that wearing shadow under the eye can call attention to that. So we're doing one of these pinks, and you guessed it, they aren't very aggressive. I'm going to go with this one, and we're going to put it on with a brush, then we'll put it on with a finger, and then I'm going to spray a brush. And I'm just going to do this area right here. So there's almost no sheen at all. If that's a problem for you, you know, you're not going to dig it. With the finger, much better. But the finger, it's really hard to be precise. So much more sheen with the finger application, and this is the brush application. Now I'm going to coat the brush again, and I'm going to spray it. And this has probably the same amount of sheen, but more color. So sprayed, finger, and now you can't see the dry brush application anymore. And this is the brown look. So you've seen a pinky look that I think is perfect for every day, and guess what? I think this is perfect for every day too. I didn't do much in the copper zone. I'm not, you know, we had a big copper period about 3 years ago, and I'm really over it. I know a lot of people feel that way about pinks because we've been in the pink zone for several years now, and a lot of people are over it. But to me, forget about these two things. These two, I love this for my skin tone, for my aesthetic, for a daily look where you look put together but you don't look like too much. And I know there must be other people out there who are like me who don't want to look like they're going to a rave. You know what I mean? It's not really useful for my life, where this is totally useful for my life. I'm sorry to disappoint if you are somebody who wanted to see something quite bright on my lids in the shimmer area. But, you know, I gave you something. Okay, for you people, let's just add something else. So let's go in with this one. And I'll just put it in the center. Huh. There is a pinkness to this shade. I can see it as I turn it, and the pinkness is coming out on the lid for sure. It's very pretty. And it seems like the more I burnish it, the shinier it gets. Mariah Leonard had done a video ages ago where she talked about, or she probably said in several videos, when she's doing highlights, she likes to really work it in back and forth because it kind of burnishes the pearls in there, and I'm getting that same effect with these. I think it's pretty, you guys. I just think this is a great everyday palette, reminiscent somewhat of the Patrick Ta palette, which is $20 more. If you're just interested in dollars, this is a lot less dollars and a very, very similar effect. Except it doesn't have those creams, which I really enjoyed. And I don't know, what should I do on my lips? This is Dior 458. I can't read what it's called. I think it's Ink Fusion. Again, this will be down below in case you're interested. And I put a little on, and then I blotted some off because I didn't want a lot of color. I just wanted a little bit of freshness on my lips. What are my overall thoughts? I think it's a great palette. I think it's very, very beginner friendly. So it's not something that's going to hit you in the face with pigmentation, but at the same time, when I went in with that second shade, I was like, oh, okay, I need to share it with this side. So there is pigmentation here. I used it pretty gingerly. I'm sure if you went ham with it, you would have a different outcome. But for beginners, it's not a bad thing to spend a little bit more time blending stuff in and building things up than having too much on and trying to take it off. That's very hard to do, and it takes a lot more time to do that than to build. So beginner friendly, a daily color range. Copper's not for me, but is for many skin tones, it is a daily look. I'm not sure what that undertone would be, if it's a yellow or an olive, but it's just not my thing. They do look good on me because they bring out the green in my hazel, but I just don't like them. I really like it, you guys. I do. Let me be the first person on YouTube to give this a good review. I am not associated with Fenty in any shape, way, or form. This is not sponsored. Of course, I'm such a mini channel. Who would notice me? But I guess I feel like, you know what? I sometimes, well, okay, my whole life, but I try not to do it here too much, go for the underdog. If someone's beating up on something, I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute. Let me just take a look at this, because I think you guys are kind of ganging up together on the new girl. Wow, there's my life. There's many of us kind of people out there where if someone's punching something a lot, then we're going to say, you know what, maybe they're just kind of, well, this person hates it, so this person hates it, so you want to know for yourself? This is what my thoughts are for myself. My thoughts are always my thoughts. I might have a bias or a prejudice that I am not in touch with, but I think I just revealed it here. I'm sticking up for the one that I'm seeing everybody beat up on, and I think they're wrong. And, you know, I do just the opposite. You know, a lot of people love certain palettes where I'm like, it's, you know, it's not really for every day. It's not really useful. So penny for pound, not so much. Anyway, you guys, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to put my hair down for you. I did some highlights the other day, and on the sides they're fine, but I feel like there's some yellow stuff. It happens all the time for me. Right up here, it gets like yellowy or coppery, especially on this side of, so like from here down it's fine, but from here up, I'm like, what is that? Stop it. Anyway. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.